What if one small act of kindness could change the course of your life forever? On a cold winter night in New York City, inside a quiet diner where dreams often went unnoticed, Emma Walker served coffee with a smile, and unknowingly caught the attention of someone who would alter her destiny. What happened next is a story of courage, compassion, and the unexpected ways life can transform when you least expect it. Are you ready to hear how an ordinary woman became extraordinary? Let's dive in. The scene opens with a soft piano melody playing in the background. The camera pans over the dimly lit streets of New York City, where snowflakes are falling gently onto the pavement. It's late at night, and the city feels alive yet lonely. We zoom into Rosie's Diner, a small but cozy eatery tucked away on a quiet street corner. Inside, warm yellow lights flicker against the frosty windowpanes as steam rises from cups of coffee and plates of food. Emma Walker stands behind the counter, her apron slightly stained with ketchup and grease. She's in her mid-20s, with curly brown hair tied back into a messy bun and tired eyes that still manage to sparkle when she smiles. Life hasn't been easy for Emma. She works 2 jobs just to make ends meet after losing her father last year. Her mom lives out of state, battling health issues, and every paycheck Emma earns goes toward keeping them both afloat. Despite it all, Emma carries herself with an air of quiet resilience, always finding ways to brighten someone else's day. "Here you go, sir," Emma says cheerfully, placing a steaming cup of hot chocolate in front of an elderly man sitting by the window. His hands tremble as he reaches for the mug, and his coat looks like it's seen better days. "Careful, it's hot." "Thank you, sweetheart," the man replies, his voice cracking with age. He glances up at her with watery blue eyes. "You're too kind to an old man like me." Emma gives him a reassuring smile. "It's no trouble at all. Let me know if you need anything else." As she turns away, another customer catches her attention, a homeless man shuffling through the door, his clothes tattered and his face hidden beneath layers of scarves. Some patrons glance nervously at him, but Emma doesn't hesitate. She grabs a clean napkin and fills a plate with leftover sandwiches and fries from the kitchen. "Hi there," she says softly, approaching him. "I noticed you came in. Are you hungry?" The man nods slowly, his expression wary but grateful. "Yes, thank you." "No problem," Emma replies warmly, handing him the plate. "Take your time. There's plenty here." Watching this exchange from across the room is Eleanor Sinclair, a striking woman in her early 40s dressed in a tailored black coat and designer boots. She sits alone at a booth near the entrance, sipping tea while scrolling through emails on her phone. At first glance, she seems completely out of place in the modest diner. Her polished appearance contrasts sharply with the worn-down furniture and simple decor. But something about Emma's actions draws Eleanor's attention. Eleanor watches silently as Emma moves effortlessly between tables, chatting with customers and offering words of encouragement. When the homeless man finishes eating and thanks Emma again, Eleanor can't help but feel a pang of admiration, and perhaps a hint of guilt. As a successful businesswoman who runs one of the largest tech companies in the city, Eleanor is used to making decisions based on logic and profit margins. Yet here is Emma, a young woman struggling to survive, choosing kindness over convenience without hesitation. Curiosity gets the better of Eleanor. She signals for Emma to come over. "Yes, ma'am?" Emma asks politely, pulling out her notepad. "Can I get you anything else?" Eleanor studies her for a moment before speaking. "Actually, I was wondering, how do you do it?" "Do what?" Emma tilts her head, confused. All of this, Eleanor gestures around the diner. "Helping everyone so selflessly. Most people wouldn't bother." Emma shrugs, brushing off the compliment. "I don't think it's anything special. If I can make someone's day even a little bit brighter, why wouldn't I?" Her sincerity takes Eleanor aback. For years, Eleanor has prided herself on her achievements, climbing the corporate ladder with relentless determination. But now, watching Emma interact with such genuine warmth, she realizes how disconnected she's become from the world outside her boardroom. "Well," Eleanor says finally, offering a small smile. "You've given me something to think about tonight." Emma chuckles lightly. "Glad I could help, even if it's just with food or conversation." As Emma walks away to tend to another table, Eleanor leans back in her seat, lost in thought. The diner buzzes with life around her, but her mind remains fixed on the waitress with the kind heart. Little does either woman know, this chance encounter will set off a chain of events neither could have anticipated. Fade out as the piano melody swells softly, leaving viewers with a sense of hope and intrigue. The scene transitions smoothly from the diner, where Emma continues her shift with the same unwavering kindness. Outside, snowflakes drift lazily through the cold night air, casting a serene glow over New York City. Inside Eleanor's sleek black car parked just down the street, she sits in silence, her fingers tapping rhythmically against the steering wheel as she reflects on what she witnessed earlier. Her sharp mind begins to churn with ideas. Eleanor pulls out her phone and dials a number. After 2 rings, a voice answers on the other end. "Jessica? It's Eleanor. I need you to do something for me." Jessica Monroe, Eleanor's trusted assistant, is used to receiving unusual requests from her boss. With a curious tone, she replies, "Of course, Ms. Sinclair. What do you need?" "I want you to go undercover," Eleanor explains, her voice calm but deliberate. "There's a waitress at Rosie's diner, Emma Walker. I need you to pose as someone in need and see how she reacts. Be convincing." Jessica hesitates for a moment. "Undercover? You mean, like an act?" "Yes," Eleanor confirms. "But make it believable. Dress casually, maybe carry a child's backpack or something. Pretend you're a struggling single mother. See if she offers help without being asked." Jessica nods, though Eleanor can't see her. "Got it. When do you want me to do this?" "Tonight," Eleanor says firmly. "I'll be waiting nearby to hear your report." A short while later, Jessica arrives at Rosie's diner, dressed in worn jeans and a faded sweater. She clutches a small tote bag filled with random items, a baby bottle, a stuffed animal, and a few crumpled papers, to sell the illusion of a harried parent. Her face looks tired, and she avoids making eye contact with anyone as she takes a seat at the counter. Emma approaches with her usual warm smile. "Hi there. Welcome to Rosie's. Can I get you started with anything?" Jessica glances up hesitantly, forcing herself to look overwhelmed. I'm not sure. Do you have anything affordable? I've had a rough day." Emma's expression softens immediately. She notices the subtle signs, the frayed edges of Jessica's clothes, the way she nervously fidgets with the strap of her bag. Without missing a beat, Emma leans closer. "Don't worry about the menu," Emma says gently. "Let me take care of you. How about some soup and grilled cheese? Comfort food always helps when things feel heavy." Jessica blinks, caught off guard by Emma's genuine concern. I don't know if I can pay for that right now." Emma waves her hand dismissively. "It's on the house. No questions asked. Everyone deserves a good meal, especially on a night like this." Touched by Emma's generosity, Jessica struggles to maintain her composure. "Thank you so much. You have no idea how much this means." "It's nothing," Emma assures her with a reassuring grin. "Take your time. And let me know if you need anything else, okay?" As Emma walks away to prepare the meal, Jessica pulls out her phone under the table and sends a quick text to Eleanor. She passed. Didn't hesitate to help. Back in her car, Eleanor reads the message and exhales deeply. A flicker of admiration crosses her face, though she quickly masks it with her usual composed demeanor. Still, curiosity gnaws at her. Who is this woman who gives so freely despite having so little herself? Eleanor taps her phone again, dialing another number. This time, it's her private investigator. Mr. Hayes? I need a background check on someone. Name's Emma Walker. Works at Rosie's Diner in Midtown. Within hours, the report lands in Eleanor's inbox. As she scrolls through the details, her brow furrows with both surprise and sympathy. The file reveals that Emma lost her father to cancer last year, leaving her family drowning in medical debt. Her mother lives out of state and requires constant care due to chronic illness, which Emma supports financially despite working long hours at minimum-wage jobs. Yet nowhere in the report does it mention Emma complaining or asking for help. Instead, neighbors describe her as cheerful, dependable, and always willing to lend a hand. Eleanor closes the file, leaning back in her seat as emotions swirl inside her. For years, she's prided herself on her ability to read people, to spot their strengths and weaknesses. But Emma Walker defies every expectation. Here is a woman who has every reason to focus solely on survival, and yet, she chooses to give everything she has to others. For the first time in a long while, Eleanor feels a pang of humility. Perhaps there's more to life than profit margins and power plays. Perhaps kindness, like Emma's, holds a value far greater than any business deal. Fade out as Eleanor stares thoughtfully into the distance, the city lights reflecting in her eyes. The faint sound of a piano melody returns, hinting at the beginning of a transformation, not just for Emma, but for Eleanor as well. The next morning dawns cold and gray, the streets of New York still dusted with snow from the night before. Inside her tiny apartment, Emma wakes up to the shrill sound of her alarm clock. She groggily reaches over to turn it off, her body aching from another long shift at Rosie's Diner. As she sits up in bed, rubbing her tired eyes, her phone buzzes on the nightstand beside her. Emma picks it up absent-mindedly, expecting yet another bill reminder or spam email. But this time, something catches her attention, a formal-looking message with the subject line, "Job Opportunity at Sinclair Enterprises." Her brow furrows as she opens the email. The text reads, "Dear Ms. Walker. We are pleased to inform you that Sinclair Enterprises is interested in extending an invitation for you to interview for a position within our organization. Your exceptional qualities have been brought to our attention, and we believe you would be an excellent fit for our team. Please find attached details regarding the interview schedule. Sincerely, Eleanor Sinclair." Emma blinks several times, rereading the words as if they might suddenly make sense. "Sinclair Enterprises," she mutters aloud, her voice tinged with disbelief. "What on earth?" She leans back against the wall, staring at the screen. Sinclair Enterprises wasn't just any company, it was one of the biggest tech giants in the country, known for its cutting-edge innovations and exclusive hiring process. People didn't get jobs there without years of experience, advanced degrees, or connections in high places. And yet, here was an email addressed directly to her, inviting her to interview. This has to be a mistake, Emma says to herself, shaking her head. They must have sent this to the wrong person. Still, curiosity gets the better of her. She scrolls down to the attachment, which includes instructions for the interview, tomorrow afternoon at their headquarters downtown. There's even a note about reimbursing travel expenses, should she choose to attend. Emma sets the phone down and sighs deeply, running a hand through her messy curls. Her mind races with questions. Why would someone like Eleanor Sinclair, someone who probably never set foot in a diner like Rosie's unless it was by accident, be interested in hiring her? Was this some kind of prank? Or worse, a scam? But then again, what if it wasn't? What if this really was an opportunity? Later that day, during her lunch break at work, Emma confides in her coworker and closest friend, Mia Rodriguez. Mia is sitting across from her in the staff lounge, munching on a sandwich while listening intently. So let me get this straight, Mia says, raising an eyebrow. Some big-shot CEO wants to hire you because, why exactly? I don't know. Emma exclaims, throwing her hands up in frustration. That's the thing, it doesn't say. It just says my exceptional qualities caught their attention. I mean, come on, Mia. Exceptional qualities? Me? At Rosie's diner? Mia smirks, clearly amused by the absurdity of it all. Well, you are pretty amazing. You're basically Mother Teresa in an apron. Emma rolls her eyes but can't help smiling faintly. Yeah, okay. But seriously, what am I supposed to do? Go downtown in my uniform and hope they don't laugh me out of the building? Mia tilts her head thoughtfully. Why not? Worst case scenario, it's a waste of your time. Best case scenario, well, maybe it's your lucky break. Emma frowns, unconvinced. I'm not qualified for whatever job they're offering. I barely graduated high school, Mia. These kinds of companies want people with fancy degrees and resumes thicker than my mom's recipe book. But you won't know unless you try, Mia counters gently. Look, Em, life doesn't hand out chances like this every day. If nothing else, go see what it's about. Who knows? Maybe fate's finally giving you a win. Emma sighs again, torn between skepticism and hope. She knows Mia has a point. It's true that opportunities like this don't come around often. And deep down, a small part of her wonders if maybe, just maybe, this could be the start of something better. That evening, after finishing her shift, Emma sits alone at her kitchen table, staring at the email once more. The city hums faintly outside her window, cars honking and distant sirens wailing. She chews on her thumbnail nervously, weighing her options. Finally, she makes up her mind. All right, she whispers to herself, grabbing a pen and paper. If this is a joke, fine. But if it's real? She begins jotting down notes, trying to prepare for the interview. Though she has no idea what to expect, she decides to give it her best shot. After all, she's spent her entire life working hard and helping others. Maybe it's time someone helped her for a change. The following afternoon, Emma steps out of a subway station near Sinclair Enterprises' towering glass headquarters. She's dressed in her nicest outfit, a simple navy blue dress paired with a borrowed blazer, and clutches a worn leather purse tightly in her hands. Despite her nerves, she walks with determination, her chin held high as she approaches the gleaming skyscraper, *. Inside the lobby, the atmosphere is sleek and intimidating. Polished marble floors reflect the light streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows, and employees in sharp suits hurry past without sparing her a glance. Emma feels completely out of place, but she reminds herself of Mia's words, * who knows? Maybe fate's finally giving you a win, *. As she approaches the front desk, a receptionist greets her with a polite smile. May I help you? Yes, Emma replies, clutching the printed email in her hand. I'm here for an interview with, Eleanor Sinclair. The receptionist nods and gestures toward a waiting area. Please take a seat. Someone will be with you shortly. Emma sinks into a plush chair, her heart pounding as she looks around the opulent space. For a moment, doubt creeps back in. What could a woman like Eleanor Sinclair possibly want with someone like her? But then she remembers the homeless man she fed last night, the elderly gentleman who smiled at her kindness, and the countless others she's tried to help along the way. Maybe that's exactly why she's here, to prove that kindness matters, even in a world obsessed with success and power. Fade out as Emma sits quietly, her expression a mix of apprehension and quiet resolve. The camera lingers on her face for a moment before panning upward to the towering skyline beyond the windows, symbolizing the vast possibilities ahead, *. Asterisk. The scene opens with Emma stepping into the bustling office of Sinclair Enterprises on her first official day as an employee. The sleek, modern workspace is a stark contrast to the cozy diner she's used to. Glass walls divide meeting rooms, and rows of desks are filled with employees typing furiously on their computers or chatting in hushed tones. The hum of keyboards and occasional ring of phones creates a symphony of productivity that feels overwhelming to Emma. Asterisk. She stands awkwardly near the entrance, clutching her tote bag tightly, unsure where to go or what to do next. Her outfit, a modest blouse and slacks, is clean but noticeably simpler than the tailored suits and designer dresses worn by her new colleagues. She tugs nervously at her sleeves, trying to blend in, but already she can feel eyes glancing her way. "Excuse me," a voice interrupts her thoughts. A young man in a crisp navy suit approaches her, holding out his hand. "You must be Emma Walker. I'm Ryan Carter, one of the team leads here. Welcome aboard." Emma shakes his hand hesitantly, forcing a smile. "Hi, thanks. Nice to meet you." Ryan gestures for her to follow him. "Let me show you to your desk. We've got a lot to cover today, you'll hit the ground running." As they walk through the office, Emma notices the whispers starting. People glance up from their screens, their expressions ranging from curiosity to outright skepticism. One woman mutters loud enough for Emma to overhear, "Is she serious? She looks like she wandered in off the street." Emma flinches internally but keeps her head down, focusing on following Ryan. This was a mistake, she thinks bitterly. I don't belong here. At her assigned desk, Emma tries to make sense of the chaos around her. Her computer screen lights up with emails, notifications, and documents she doesn't recognize. Terms like synergy, quarterly projections, and KPIs flash across presentations, leaving her utterly confused. A coworker named Claire stops by briefly, offering what seems like helpful advice, but it only adds to Emma's growing anxiety. "You'll need to get familiar with Slack and Asana ASAP," Claire says briskly, pointing to various tabs open on Emma's monitor. "And remember, always CC Eleanor on important emails. Oh, and if you're not sure about something, just figure it out. No one has time to hold your hand here." Emma nods mechanically, though she has no idea what half of those tools even are. Once Claire leaves, Emma leans back in her chair, exhaling deeply. Her mind races with self-doubt. How is she supposed to survive in this environment when she can barely understand the lingo, let alone the expectations? Later that afternoon, Emma attends her first team meeting. The conference room is dominated by a large oval table surrounded by high-backed chairs. Everyone else sits confidently, laptops open and pens poised, while Emma fumbles to find a seat at the far end of the table. Eleanor enters last, commanding attention without saying a word. She takes her place at the head of the table, scanning the room briefly before beginning. "All right, team," Eleanor begins, her tone sharp and efficient. "Let's dive into the Q3 strategy updates. Ryan, take us through the client acquisition numbers." Ryan launches into a detailed presentation, using charts and graphs that might as well be written in another language to Emma. When it's her turn to contribute, something vague about onboarding initiatives, she stammers, struggling to articulate anything coherent. Emma starts, her face flushing red as all eyes turn to her. "I think we should focus on, making things more accessible. For everyone." The room falls silent. Someone coughs awkwardly. Another person exchanges a glance with their neighbor, raising an eyebrow. Eleanor interjects smoothly, saving Emma from further embarrassment. "Interesting perspective, Emma. Let's discuss specifics offline." Emma sinks lower in her chair, mortified. She feels like an imposter, completely out of her depth. After the meeting, Emma retreats to the restroom, leaning against the sink as she stares at her reflection in the mirror. Tears prick at the corners of her eyes, but she blinks them away angrily. "What were you thinking?" she whispers to herself, gripping the edge of the counter. "You don't belong here. This isn't your world." But then she remembers why she took the job in the first place, not just for herself, but for her mom, for the chance to create a better life. Giving up now would mean letting down not only herself but also the people who depend on her. Taking a deep breath, Emma straightens her posture and squares her shoulders. "Okay," she mutters firmly. "One step at a time. You've handled worse than this." Back at her desk, Emma decides to tackle the overwhelm head-on. She starts Googling terms she doesn't understand, jotting down notes in a small notebook she keeps tucked in her bag. She watches tutorial videos during her lunch break and asks tentative questions to coworkers, though many respond with thinly veiled impatience. Despite the challenges, Emma refuses to give up. Slowly but surely, she begins piecing together the puzzle of corporate life. By the end of the day, she manages to send her first email, albeit riddled with typos and overly formal phrasing, to the team, summarizing her initial observations. To her surprise, Eleanor replies almost immediately. *Good effort, Emma. Keep pushing forward. Growth comes from discomfort. Emma reads the message twice, a small spark of hope igniting within her. Maybe she doesn't have everything figured out yet, but perhaps that's okay. Perhaps Eleanor sees potential in her after all. Fade out as Emma stares at the email, determination replacing doubt in her expression. The camera pans out to show the bustling office around her, symbolizing the uphill battle ahead, but also the promise of transformation. The next morning, Emma arrives at Sinclair Enterprises earlier than usual, determined to prove herself despite the challenges she faced on her first day. The office is quieter now, bathed in soft morning light streaming through the windows. She sits at her desk, sipping coffee from a thermos she brought from home, and flips open her notebook filled with hastily scribbled notes from yesterday's crash course in corporate jargon. As she studies the pages, a voice interrupts her concentration. Morning. Emma looks up to see Mark Bennett, a senior employee in his mid-30s, standing beside her desk with a warm smile. He's dressed casually for the office, jeans and a button-up shirt under a blazer, and carries an air of approachability that immediately puts her at ease. "Hi," Emma replies hesitantly, unsure what to expect. "I'm Mark," he says, extending his hand. "I noticed you seemed a little overwhelmed yesterday. Thought I'd check in." Emma shakes his hand, grateful for the gesture. "Yeah, it's been a lot. Thanks for noticing." Mark chuckles lightly. "Don't worry, you're not the first person to feel like they've landed on Mars when they start here. Let me know if you need help navigating this place. I've been around long enough to know the ropes." Emma nods, feeling a flicker of relief. "That would be great, actually. I could use all the help I can get." Over the next few days, Mark becomes Emma's unofficial mentor. During lunch breaks, he takes her to a nearby cafe, where they talk about everything from company culture to strategies for managing stress in such a high-pressure environment. "You don't have to change who you are to fit in here," Mark tells her one afternoon as they sip coffee. "People might seem cold or competitive, but that doesn't mean you have to lose your humanity. In fact, your kindness? That's your superpower." Emma raises an eyebrow, skeptical. "Kindness? Around here? It feels like everyone's trying to climb over each other to get ahead." "That's true," Mark admits. "But think about it. When was the last time someone genuinely cared about how their coworkers were doing? Or went out of their way to make someone's day easier? Those small acts of kindness stand out more than you'd think." Emma considers his words, recalling how her simple gestures at Rosie's diner often brightened people's days. Maybe there is a way to bring that same spirit into the corporate world. With Mark's encouragement, Emma begins experimenting with subtle ways to connect with her colleagues. When Claire mentions being swamped with a project deadline, Emma offers to pick up lunch for her. When Ryan accidentally spills coffee on his shirt before a big meeting, Emma discreetly hands him a pack of stain remover wipes she keeps in her bag. At first, these actions go largely unnoticed, or so Emma thinks. But slowly, attitudes begin to shift. Colleagues who once whispered behind her back now greet her with polite smiles. One woman even thanks her sincerely after Emma helps troubleshoot a formatting issue in a presentation. Her biggest breakthrough comes during a particularly tense team meeting. Tensions run high as disagreements arise over a new marketing strategy, and voices grow louder by the minute. Sensing the room spiraling into chaos, Emma speaks up softly but firmly. "Maybe we should take a step back," she suggests, drawing surprised looks from around the table. "Instead of focusing on what's wrong, let's talk about what we agree on. There's got to be some common ground." For a moment, silence fills the room. Then Eleanor nods approvingly. "Good point, Emma. Let's refocus." The tension eases, and the discussion resumes in a calmer tone. Afterward, several teammates commend Emma for diffusing the situation, including Mark, who gives her a thumbs up from across the room. As weeks pass, Emma continues to adapt, blending her natural warmth with the skills she's learning from Mark. She starts attending optional workshops and webinars, soaking up knowledge like a sponge. Her emails become clearer and more confident, and she even volunteers to lead a small project, a bold move that earns her Eleanor's attention. One evening, as the office empties out and Emma stays late to finish a report, Mark stops by her desk. "You're doing great, you know," he says, leaning against the partition. Emma looks up, surprised. "Really? Because most days, I still feel like I'm faking it." Mark laughs. "Welcome to the club. Everyone feels like that sometimes, even Eleanor. But you're proving something important. Kindness and competence aren't mutually exclusive. You're showing them both." Emma smiles faintly, touched by his words. For the first time since starting at Sinclair Enterprises, she feels like she might actually belong here, not because she's changed who she is, but because she's found a way to shine while staying true to herself. Fade out as Emma closes her laptop for the night, a sense of quiet pride settling over her. The camera lingers on her face, illuminated by the glow of her desk lamp, before panning out to show the empty office around her. Though the journey has only just begun, it's clear that Emma is no longer the uncertain outsider she once was. The scene opens with Emma seated at her desk, typing furiously on her computer. The office buzzes around her as usual, but today there's an undercurrent of tension in the air. Whispers ripple through the workspace, and clusters of employees huddle together, their faces tight with concern. Emma overhears snippets of conversation as she walks to the printer. "Did you hear about the Anderson deal?" one coworker asks another. "They're pushing for cost cuts again." Curious, Emma approaches Mark later that morning during a rare quiet moment. "What's going on with the Anderson account?" she asks cautiously. Mark sighs, rubbing the back of his neck. "It's complicated. They're one of our biggest clients, but they've been pressuring us to cut corners, cheaper materials, faster production timelines, all to boost profits. Problem is, it compromises quality and ethics." Emma frowns, her stomach sinking. That doesn't sound right. Isn't Sinclair Enterprises supposed to be about innovation and integrity? "It is," Mark replies grimly. "But when millions of dollars are on the line, principles can get flexible." Later that day, Eleanor calls an emergency meeting. The entire team gathers in the conference room, the atmosphere heavy with unease. Eleanor stands at the head of the table, her expression unreadable as she addresses the group. "As you know," she begins, her voice steady but clipped, "the Anderson Corporation has requested significant changes to our current project plan. These changes would allow them to reduce costs dramatically, but they come at a price. Cutting corners means sacrificing quality and potentially damaging our reputation." Murmurs ripple through the room. Some nod in agreement, while others exchange worried glances. Eleanor continues, her tone firm. We need to decide how to proceed. I want everyone's input before we make a final decision. One by one, team members weigh in. Most express reluctance but ultimately concede that losing the Anderson account could devastate the company financially. Claire speaks up first, her voice pragmatic. I hate to say it, but maybe we don't have a choice. If we lose Anderson, we risk layoffs, and no one wants that. Ryan chimes in next, echoing similar concerns. She's right. It's not ideal, but sometimes you have to play the game to stay competitive. Emma listens silently, her heart pounding as the discussion unfolds. She feels a growing sense of frustration and responsibility. Finally, unable to stay silent any longer, she raises her hand hesitantly. Can I say something? She asks, her voice trembling slightly. All eyes turn to her. Eleanor nods, gesturing for her to continue. Emma takes a deep breath, steeling herself. I understand why this seems like the only option, but I think cutting corners is a mistake, not just for us, but for the client too. Sure, cheaper materials save money now, but what happens when the product fails or customers lose trust? Long-term success isn't built on shortcuts, it's built on integrity. The room falls silent. Some colleagues glance away uncomfortably, while others look skeptical. Claire leans forward, her tone sharp. That's easy for you to say, she snaps. You haven't been here long enough to understand what's at stake. This isn't some diner where you can afford to prioritize feelings over results. Emma flinches at the jab but refuses to back down. Maybe I haven't been here long, but I do know that people remember how you treat them. If we compromise our values for short-term gain, we're not just risking this project, we're risking everything Sinclair Enterprises stands for. Eleanor watches quietly, her expression unreadable. After a tense pause, she interjects smoothly. Thank you, Emma. Let's take a short break before reconvening. During the break, Emma retreats to the restroom, leaning against the sink as doubt creeps in. Did she just make a huge mistake? Challenging senior colleagues, and indirectly questioning Eleanor's leadership, could easily cost her the job she's worked so hard to keep. As she stares at her reflection, Mark finds her and knocks gently on the doorframe. Hey, he says softly. You okay? Emma shakes her head, tears welling up in her eyes. I messed up, didn't I? Everyone thinks I'm naive, or worse, reckless. Mark steps closer, his tone reassuring. No, you didn't mess up. You spoke your truth, and that takes courage. Not everyone will agree with you, but standing up for what you believe in? That's how real change happens. Emma wipes her eyes, taking a shaky breath. But what if it's not enough? What if they still go through with it? Then you'll have done everything you could, Mark replies firmly. And trust me, people notice when you fight for the right thing, even if they don't say it out loud. When the meeting resumes, the tension is palpable. Eleanor addresses the group once more, her tone measured but resolute. After careful consideration, she announces, I've decided that we will not compromise on quality or ethics. We'll present alternative solutions to Anderson that align with our core values. If they choose to walk away, so be it. A collective gasp ripples through the room. Several team members exchange astonished looks, while others nod approvingly. Emma sits frozen, stunned by Eleanor's decision. Eleanor catches her eye briefly, offering a small, almost imperceptible smile. Sometimes, she adds, addressing the group, doing the right thing isn't always the easiest path, but it's the one worth taking. After the meeting, Emma lingers behind, unsure whether to approach Eleanor. Before she can decide, Eleanor turns to her, her expression softening. You were right, Emma, she says simply. Ethical business practices aren't negotiable. Thank you for reminding us of that. Emma blinks, overwhelmed by the unexpected praise. I just wanted to help. And you did, Eleanor replies. More than you realize. Asterisk fade out as Emma walks back to her desk, a renewed sense of purpose lighting up her face. The camera pans out to show the bustling office, now infused with a subtle energy of hope and determination, a testament to the power of standing up for what's right. Asterisk. The scene opens with Emma and her team gathered in a conference room late in the evening, surrounded by whiteboards covered in scribbled notes, charts, and brainstorming ideas. Empty coffee cups litter the table, evidence of hours spent working tirelessly to find an ethical solution for the Anderson Corporation project. The energy in the room is tense but focused, each person contributing their thoughts as they race against time to meet the looming deadline. Asterisk. Emma stands near the front of the room, marker in hand, pointing to one section of the board. What if we restructure the supply chain, she suggests, her voice steady despite her fatigue. We could partner with local suppliers who use sustainable materials. It might take a little longer up front, but it would ensure quality, and show Anderson that we're committed to doing things the right way. Mark nods thoughtfully from his seat. It's risky, but it could work. Plus, it aligns with Sinclair Enterprises' values. If we pitch it as a long-term investment rather than a quick fix, Anderson might see the value. Claire, who has been skeptical of Emma's approach since the beginning, raises an eyebrow. Do you really think they'll go for it? They've already made it clear they want cost cuts. It's not about cutting costs, Emma replies firmly. It's about offering something better, something meaningful. If we can prove that this approach will benefit them in the long run, they'll listen. Ryan leans forward, tapping his pen against the table. I say we give it a shot. Worst case scenario, they reject it, and we regroup. But if it works, he trails off, a hint of optimism creeping into his tone. All right, Mark says decisively, standing up. Let's finalize the proposal tonight and present it to Eleanor first thing tomorrow morning. She needs to sign off before we take it to Anderson. The next day, the team gathers nervously outside Eleanor's office, waiting for her reaction after presenting their plan. Inside, Eleanor sits at her desk, flipping through the meticulously prepared document. Her expression remains unreadable, though her sharp eyes scan every detail with precision. Finally, she looks up, meeting the group's anxious gazes. This is bold, she says simply, setting the proposal down. And risky. But it's also exactly what Sinclair Enterprises should stand for. Emma exhales sharply, relief washing over her. So, you think it'll work? Eleanor smirks faintly. I didn't say that. But I do think it's worth trying. You've shown initiative, creativity, and integrity, all qualities I value more than blind compliance. Let's move forward. A few days later, the team meets with representatives from Anderson Corporation in a sleek conference room. Tension hangs thick in the air as Emma steps up to present the revised proposal. Though nervous, she speaks with conviction, outlining how partnering with sustainable suppliers and prioritizing quality over shortcuts will ultimately strengthen Anderson's brand reputation and customer loyalty. As she finishes, the room falls silent. For a moment, no one speaks. Then, Mr. Anderson, the company's CEO, leans back in his chair, studying Emma intently. You're proposing we invest more money now for potential gains later, he says slowly, his tone neutral. Yes, Emma replies without hesitation. But it's not just about potential gains, it's about building trust. Your customers will see that you care about delivering excellence, not just saving costs. That kind of loyalty can't be bought, it has to be earned. Mr. Anderson exchanges a glance with his team, then nods approvingly. You make a compelling argument, Ms. Walker. We'll sign the contract, but only if you personally oversee the implementation. Emma blinks, caught off guard. Me? Yes, Mr. Anderson confirms, smiling faintly. You clearly understand what matters most. I'd like to see where your vision takes us. Back at Sinclair Enterprises, news of the signed contract spreads quickly, sparking cheers throughout the office. The team celebrates with impromptu high-fives and congratulatory hugs, while Emma stands quietly in the corner, still processing everything that's happened. Eleanor watches from afar, leaning against a wall with her arms crossed. There's a flicker of admiration in her eyes as she observes Emma interacting with her colleagues, grateful smiles exchanged, heartfelt thanks offered. This young woman, who once seemed so out of place, has proven herself capable of leading with both heart and strategy. Later that afternoon, Eleanor approaches Emma at her desk. "Congratulations," she says simply, her tone warmer than usual. "You handled yourself well today." Emma looks up, surprised. "Thank you. Honestly, I couldn't have done it without the team, or your support." Eleanor shakes her head slightly. "Don't sell yourself short. You were the driving force behind this success. And let me tell you something, you've got leadership potential. Don't forget that." Emma feels a surge of pride and gratitude. For the first time since joining Sinclair Enterprises, she truly believes she belongs here. Asterisk fade out as Emma returns to her work, a quiet confidence radiating from her demeanor. The camera pans out to show the bustling office, alive with renewed energy and purpose, a testament to the power of perseverance, teamwork, and staying true to one's values. Asterisk. The scene opens on a crisp Saturday morning, with Emma arriving at Sinclair Enterprises for an early meeting. The office is quieter than usual, bathed in soft natural light streaming through the windows. As she walks toward the conference room, she notices a young girl sitting cross-legged on the floor near Eleanor's office, sketching in a notebook. Her dark hair falls in loose waves over her shoulders, and her bright eyes are focused intently on her drawing. Asterisk. Emma pauses, intrigued. She recognizes the girl from photos she's seen around the office. This must be Lily Sinclair, Eleanor's 10-year-old daughter. Curious, Emma approaches cautiously. "Hey there," Emma says gently, crouching down to the girl's level. "What are you working on?" Lily looks up, startled but not unwelcoming. "Oh, hi. I'm drawing a superhero." She holds up the notebook proudly, revealing a colorful figure clad in a cape. "That's awesome!" Emma exclaims sincerely. "What's their superpower?" "They help people who feel invisible," Lily explains earnestly. "Like when someone's sad or lonely, they make them feel important again." Emma smiles, touched by the thoughtfulness behind the idea. "That sounds like the best kind of superhero. Do you come here often?" "Sometimes," Lily shrugs. "Mom works a lot, so I hang out here when she has meetings." "It's okay, I guess." Before Emma can respond, Eleanor emerges from her office, looking polished as ever in a tailored blazer and heels. "Lily, what did I say about staying out here while I'm busy?" "It's fine, Mom," Lily replies quickly, closing her notebook. "I was just talking to Emma." Eleanor glances at Emma, raising an eyebrow. "Emma? You two know each other?" "We just met," Emma clarifies with a warm smile. "Your daughter's got some serious artistic talent, and a big heart to match." Eleanor softens slightly, though her tone remains professional. "Well, thank you for keeping her company. Let's get started, shall we?" Over the next few weeks, Emma and Lily cross paths more frequently. Whether it's during lunch breaks or after-school visits to the office, Lily begins seeking out Emma whenever she's around. At first, their interactions are casual, small talk about school projects or favorite books, but soon they grow into something deeper. One afternoon, as Emma sorts through files at her desk, Lily appears beside her, clutching a crumpled permission slip. "Emma? Can you help me with this?" "Sure," Emma replies, setting aside her work. "What's up?" "It's for a science fair," Lily explains hesitantly. But Mom said she doesn't have time to sign it because of work stuff. I don't want to bother her, but if I don't turn it in tomorrow, I won't be able to participate. Emma frowned sympathetically. That doesn't seem fair. Why don't we go talk to her together? Maybe she'll understand how important it is to you. Together, they approach Eleanor's office, where she's buried under a mountain of paperwork. Emma knocks lightly on the doorframe before stepping inside. Ms. Sinclair, do you have a minute? Emma asks politely. Eleanor looks up, clearly distracted. What is it? It's about Lily's science fair, Emma begins carefully. She really wants to participate, but she needs your signature on this form. I think it would mean a lot to her. Eleanor sighs, pinching the bridge of her nose. Emma, I appreciate the reminder, but I'm swamped right now. Can't it wait? Lily shifts uncomfortably, her voice barely above a whisper. It's okay, Mom. I'll figure it out later. Emma steps forward, her tone gentle but firm. Actually, Miss Sinclair, I think taking a moment now could save you time in the long run. If Lily misses the deadline, she'll probably be upset, and we both know how much harder it is to fix things once emotions get involved. Eleanor hesitates, then finally nods. Fine. Give me the form. As Lily hands over the paper, relief washes over her face. Thanks, Mom. And thanks, Emma. No problem, Emma replies with a reassuring smile. You've got this, Lily. Your project is going to be amazing. As the weeks pass, Lily starts referring to Emma as her work mom, much to everyone's amusement, including Eleanor's. One evening, as the three of them share a rare quiet moment in the office kitchenette, Lily grins mischievously. You're way cooler than my real mom, she teases, earning a playful glare from Eleanor. I heard that, Eleanor mutters dryly, though there's no real bite to her words. Emma laughs softly, pouring herself a cup of tea. Well, I'm honored to be your work mom, Lily. But don't forget, you've got a pretty incredible real mom too. Lily rolls her eyes dramatically. Yeah. She's great at signing papers now. Eleanor smirks, shaking her head. Careful, kiddo. Flattery only gets you so far. Despite the light-hearted banter, Eleanor watches Emma interact with Lily, noting the ease and warmth between them. It's clear that Emma genuinely cares about her daughter, not because she feels obligated, but because it's simply who she is. For the first time in years, Eleanor sees glimpses of balance in her life, thanks in part to Emma's influence. Later that night, as the office empties out and Emma prepares to leave, Eleanor stops her near the elevator. Emma, she says quietly, her tone uncharacteristically soft. Thank you, for everything. Not just for helping Lily, but for being, well, you. Emma blinks, surprised by the unexpected gratitude. Of course, Ms. Sinclair. I care about her, and about all of us here. We're a team, right? Eleanor nods slowly, a faint smile tugging at her lips. Yes. A team. Asterisk fade out as the elevator doors close behind Emma, leaving Eleanor standing alone in the hallway. The camera lingers on her thoughtful expression before panning out to show the glowing skyline beyond the office windows, a symbol of newfound connections and growth, asterisk. Asterisk. The scene opens with Emma seated at her desk, reviewing reports for an upcoming project. The office hums with its usual energy, but today feels different, calmer, quieter. She glances up as Eleanor approaches, her presence commanding attention without a word, asterisk. Do you have a moment? Eleanor asks, her tone measured yet warm. Of course, Emma replies, setting aside her papers. What's on your mind? Eleanor gestures toward the conference room. Let's talk in private. Curious, Emma follows her into the sleek glass-walled space. Once inside, Eleanor closes the door behind them and turns to face Emma, her expression thoughtful. I've been watching you closely these past few months, Eleanor begins, folding her arms across her chest. You've proven yourself not only as a valuable employee but also as someone who genuinely cares about making a difference, not just within this company, but in the world. Emma blinks, unsure where this is heading. Thank you. I think. What does that mean exactly? Eleanor smiles faintly. It means I want to offer you a new role, one that aligns perfectly with your strengths and values. I'd like you to lead the Sinclair Foundation. Emma freezes, stunned. The Sinclair Foundation? Isn't that your charity division? Yes, Eleanor confirms. We've had it for years, but it's never reached its full potential. Until now. With your vision and compassion, I believe you can transform it into something extraordinary. Emma shakes her head slightly, overwhelmed by the magnitude of the offer. I don't know what to say. Are you sure I'm the right person for this? I wouldn't have asked if I wasn't certain, Eleanor replies firmly. You've already shown us what kindness and integrity can achieve. Imagine what you could do with resources and support behind you. After much deliberation, and encouragement from Mark and Lily, Emma accepts the position. Her first task is to develop initiatives that align with the Foundation's mission, helping marginalized communities, including the homeless and disabled. Drawing inspiration from her own experiences at Rosie's Diner, she launches several projects aimed at creating sustainable change. One of her earliest programs focuses on providing job training and employment opportunities for individuals experiencing homelessness. Partnering with local shelters and businesses, Emma creates workshops that teach practical skills like cooking, cleaning, and customer service. Participants who complete the program are offered paid internships at Sinclair Enterprises or affiliated companies, giving them a chance to rebuild their lives. Another initiative targets accessibility improvements for people with disabilities. Emma works tirelessly to advocate for better workplace accommodations, both within Sinclair Enterprises and beyond. She spearheads campaigns to raise awareness about disability rights and partners with tech developers to create innovative tools that enhance accessibility in public spaces. As the projects gain momentum, Emma becomes a beacon of hope for those in need. Word spreads quickly about the Sinclair Foundation's efforts, earning praise from community leaders and media outlets alike. One chilly winter morning, Emma visits a newly opened community center funded by the foundation. The space buzzes with activity, volunteers serve hot meals, while others assist attendees with resume-building workshops and mental health counseling sessions. Emma moves through the crowd, greeting familiar faces and offering words of encouragement. A man named Marcus, whom Emma met during her days at Rosie's Diner, approaches her with tears in his eyes. Emma, I don't know how to thank you. This place, it saved me. You did the hard work, Marcus, Emma replies softly, placing a hand on his shoulder. We just gave you the tools. Keep going, you're doing amazing. Nearby, a young woman in a wheelchair watches the interaction, her expression filled with admiration. She rolls over to Emma and introduces herself as Sarah. I heard about your accessibility campaign, Sarah says, her voice tinged with gratitude. Because of you, my office installed ramps and adaptive technology. For the first time, I feel like I belong there. Emma smiles, her heart swelling with pride. That's all I ever wanted, for everyone to feel seen and valued. Back at Sinclair Enterprises, Eleanor observes the growing impact of Emma's work from afar. News articles praising the Foundation's initiatives flood social media, boosting the company's public image significantly. Employees begin volunteering en masse, inspired by Emma's leadership and dedication. During a board meeting, Eleanor addresses her executives with a rare note of pride in her voice. Thanks to Emma Walker and the Sinclair Foundation, we've achieved something remarkable. Not only have we improved countless lives, but we've also reminded ourselves, and the world, of what truly matters, humanity. Later that evening, Eleanor finds Emma in her office, surrounded by stacks of paperwork and notes. You've done incredible work, Eleanor says simply, leaning against the doorway. Emma looks up, surprised. Thank you. But none of this would have been possible without your trust, and your resources. Eleanor shakes her head. Don't sell yourself short. You've brought heart back into this company. And for that, I'll always be grateful. Asterisk fade out as Emma returns to her work, her face glowing with quiet determination. The camera pans out to show the bustling city skyline beyond the window, a symbol of progress, resilience, and the power of compassion. Asterisk. The scene opens with Emma standing backstage at a grand ballroom, bustling with activity as final preparations are made for the Sinclair Foundation's annual charity gala. The room is adorned with twinkling lights, elegant floral arrangements, and banners showcasing the foundation's initiatives. Servers glide through the crowd, carrying trays of hors d'oeuvres, while guests mingle under the soft glow of chandeliers. Despite the chaos around her, Emma moves with calm efficiency, double-checking details on her clipboard and offering last-minute instructions to volunteers. Asterisk. Make sure the donation stations are clearly marked, she tells one of the event coordinators. And remind everyone to smile, it's contagious. As she finishes speaking, Eleanor appears beside her, impeccably dressed in a tailored navy gown. She watches Emma work for a moment before stepping closer. You've outdone yourself this time, Eleanor says, her tone laced with admiration. This might be our biggest event yet. Emma looks up, brushing a strand of hair from her face. We couldn't have done it without your support, or the team's hard work. Let's just hope tonight makes a real difference. It will, Eleanor replies confidently. People believe in what you're doing, Emma. That's why they're here. The gala begins with an air of excitement and anticipation. Guests take their seats as Emma steps onto the stage, greeted by polite applause. Dressed in a simple yet elegant burgundy dress, she stands behind the podium, her hands gripping the edges nervously but her voice steady and warm. Good evening, everyone, she begins, scanning the room with a grateful smile. Thank you all for being here tonight, not just because of your generosity, but because you share our vision of a better world. A world where no one feels invisible or forgotten. She pauses, letting her words sink in before continuing. Tonight, we celebrate not only what we've accomplished together but also the lives we've touched along the way. From providing job training for the homeless to creating accessible spaces for people with disabilities, every dollar raised goes directly toward building a brighter future, for individuals, families, and communities. Her speech continues, weaving stories of resilience and hope inspired by the people she's met through her work. By the end, the audience is visibly moved, erupting into enthusiastic applause. When Emma announces the fundraising goal, a staggering $2 million, the room buzzes with energy as guests rush to contribute. By the close of the evening, the total exceeds expectations, reaching over $2.5 million. As Emma thanks the attendees during the closing remarks, tears glisten in her eyes. This is more than money, she says sincerely. It's proof that kindness can change the world. Thank you for believing in us, and in each other. Later that night, after the guests have departed and the cleanup crew has begun dismantling the venue, Emma sits alone at a table near the back of the ballroom. Exhaustion weighs heavily on her shoulders, but a deep sense of fulfillment fills her heart. Eleanor joins her moments later, holding 2 glasses of champagne. She hands one to Emma and takes a seat across from her. You deserve this, Eleanor says, raising her glass in a toast. To you, Emma Walker, the woman who reminded me what leadership truly means. Emma blushes, clinking her glass against Eleanor's. I couldn't have done any of this without you, or the incredible team behind me. Eleanor shakes her head, her expression serious yet tender. Don't deflect the credit. You've earned every bit of it. And I need you to know something important. Emma sets her glass down, sensing the gravity in Eleanor's tone. What is it? Eleanor leans forward, her gaze unwavering. I see you, Emma, not just as an employee, but as someone capable of leading Sinclair Enterprises into the future. Someone who embodies the values this company was founded on: integrity, innovation, and compassion. Emma stares at her, stunned. "Are you saying?" "Yes," Eleanor interrupts gently. "I'm proposing that you consider taking over Sinclair Enterprises someday, not immediately, of course. But when the time comes, I want you to succeed me as CEO." Emma's breath catches in her throat. "Ms. Sinclair." "Eleanor." I don't even know what to say. "That's a huge responsibility." "It is," Eleanor agrees. "But so is everything else you've taken on, and excelled at. You've proven time and again that you're ready for challenges most people would shy away from. This company needs someone like you, someone who leads with both heart and strategy." Tears well up in Emma's eyes as she processes the enormity of Eleanor's proposal. "I'm honored, truly. But are you sure? There must be others more qualified." "There isn't anyone better," Eleanor insists firmly. "You've already transformed this company, and my life, in ways I never thought possible. Trust me, Emma. You were born for this." Asterisk fade out as Emma sits quietly, overwhelmed by the weight of Eleanor's words. The camera lingers on her face, capturing the mix of disbelief, gratitude, and determination in her expression. Outside, the city skyline glimmers brightly against the night sky, a symbol of endless possibilities ahead. The scene opens with Emma sitting alone in her small apartment late at night, the glow of her laptop illuminating her face. The room is quiet except for the faint hum of the city outside her window. On the screen is an email draft she's been staring at for hours, unsent, unfinished. It reads simply, "Dear Eleanor," but the cursor blinks impatiently, waiting for words that won't come. Emma leans back in her chair, rubbing her temples as doubt swirls in her mind. How could she possibly lead a billion-dollar company? She wasn't raised for this life. She'd spent years serving coffee and scraping by, not strategizing boardroom takeovers or managing global operations. The weight of Eleanor's proposal feels suffocating, like a mountain she'll never be able to climb. "What if I fail?" she whispers aloud, her voice trembling slightly. "What if I let everyone down?" Her phone buzzes on the table beside her, breaking the silence. It's a text from Lily. "Can we talk tomorrow? Important." Emma sighs, setting the phone aside without replying. She knows avoiding the conversation won't make it easier, but right now, all she wants is to escape the relentless pressure building inside her chest. The next afternoon, Emma meets Lily at a cozy cafe near Sinclair Enterprises. The young girl sits at a corner table, sipping hot chocolate and sketching in her notebook. When Emma arrives, Lily looks up and waves enthusiastically. "Hey, work mom," she greets with a grin. Emma forces a smile, sliding into the seat across from her. "Hey, kiddo. What's so important?" Lily closes her notebook and leans forward, her expression unusually serious. "I heard about what Mom said to you, the whole CEO thing." Emma freezes, caught off guard. "How did you?" "Mom talks to me sometimes," Lily interrupts matter-of-factly. "She said you might say no because you don't think you're good enough. But I wanted to tell you something." Emma raises an eyebrow, curious despite herself. "What's that?" "You are good enough," Lily says firmly, her youthful voice filled with conviction. "You've already done so much cool stuff, helped homeless people get jobs, made offices better for people in wheelchairs, and even got rich people to care about charity. If anyone can run a big company, it's you." Emma chuckles softly, touched by Lily's unwavering faith. "It's sweet of you to say that, Lil. But running a company isn't like organizing a fundraiser. It's way harder, and way scarier." "I know," Lily replies earnestly. "But being scared doesn't mean you shouldn't try. You always tell me that when I'm nervous about school projects. Why should it be different for you?" Emma falls silent, struck by the simplicity of Lily's logic. The girl has a point. She's spent her entire life encouraging others to push past fear and doubt. Why should she hold herself to a different standard? Later that evening, Emma meets Mark at their usual after-work hangout, a quiet bar tucked away in Midtown. They sit at a booth near the back, nursing drinks as they talk. So, Mark begins casually, swirling his glass. "How's the decision going?" Emma groans, resting her forehead on her hand. "Honestly? I have no idea what to do. This feels like, too much. Like I'm pretending to be someone I'm not." Mark tilts his head thoughtfully. "Or maybe you're exactly who you're supposed to be. Look, Emma, I've seen you grow over these past months. You've handled every challenge thrown your way with grace and determination. Running a company isn't just about numbers or titles, it's about vision, integrity, and inspiring others. And those are things you've got in spades. But what if I mess it up?" Emma asks quietly, her voice tinged with vulnerability. "What if I ruin everything Eleanor's built?" "You won't," Mark replies confidently. "And even if you stumble along the way, which happens to everyone, you'll figure it out. That's what leaders do. They adapt, they learn, and they keep moving forward." Emma stares at him, weighing his words carefully. For the first time since Eleanor's proposal, a flicker of resolve begins to take root within her. Maybe she doesn't have to have all the answers right now. Maybe stepping up means trusting herself, and the people who believe in her, to rise to the occasion. Back home later that night, Emma sits once again at her laptop. This time, she doesn't hesitate. Her fingers fly across the keyboard as she types out a response to Eleanor. "Dear Eleanor. Thank you for believing in me more than I believed in myself. I'll accept the challenge, not because I'm certain I can succeed, but because I trust that I'll grow into the leader this company deserves. Thank you for giving me the chance to prove that kindness and strength can go hand in hand. Sincerely, Emma." As she hits send, a wave of relief washes over her. It's not certainty she feels, it's courage. Courage to embrace the unknown, to lean on the support of those around her, and to step boldly into the next chapter of her journey. Fade out as Emma closes her laptop, her face illuminated by a mix of determination and hope. The camera pans out to show the city skyline beyond her window, alive with lights and endless possibilities. The scene opens with the grand ballroom of a luxury hotel, transformed into a glittering venue for Sinclair Enterprises' annual charity gala. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over elegantly dressed guests mingling beneath them, their laughter and conversation blending with the soft strains of a live string quartet. At the center of it all stands Emma Walker, dressed in a sleek emerald green gown that catches the light as she moves. She adjusts her earrings nervously, glancing toward Eleanor, who is deep in conversation with a group of philanthropists nearby. Lily appears beside Emma, wearing a simple yet charming dress adorned with tiny flowers. She tugs gently on Emma's sleeve. "You ready, work mom?" Emma smiles down at her, though her hands betray her nerves as they fidget with the hem of her skirt. "As ready as I'll ever be." "You're going to crush it," Lily assures her confidently. "Everyone already loves you." Before Emma can respond, Eleanor approaches, her presence commanding attention without effort. She places a reassuring hand on Emma's shoulder. "It's time." The lights dim, and the room falls silent as Eleanor takes the stage. The crowd turns to face her, anticipation buzzing in the air. She steps up to the podium, her voice steady and authoritative as she begins to speak. "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," Eleanor says, her tone warm but professional. "Tonight, we gather not only to celebrate the incredible impact of the Sinclair Foundation but also to honor someone who has redefined what leadership means within our company, and beyond." She pauses, letting her words settle before continuing. "When I first met Emma Walker, I saw potential, but even I couldn't have imagined how profoundly she would transform this organization. Through her vision, compassion, and unwavering dedication, she has reminded us all that success isn't measured solely by profits or accolades, it's measured by the lives we touch along the way. Eleanor gestures toward Emma, who stands frozen near the edge of the stage. It is my privilege to announce that Emma Walker will succeed me as CEO of Sinclair Enterprises. Together, we will ensure that this company continues to lead with integrity, innovation, and heart. The room erupts into applause, echoing off the high ceilings as guests rise to their feet. Emma steps forward hesitantly, her cheeks flushed with emotion as she ascends the stage. Eleanor greets her with a proud smile and a brief, meaningful hug before stepping aside to let Emma take the spotlight. Emma stands behind the podium, her heart pounding as hundreds of eyes turn to her. For a moment, she feels overwhelmed, but then she looks out at the sea of faces and sees the people who've supported her journey: Mark, seated near the front with an encouraging grin, Lily, beaming proudly from the sidelines, and Eleanor, standing tall with quiet confidence. Drawing strength from their belief in her, Emma begins to speak. "Thank you," she starts softly, her voice trembling slightly but gaining strength with each word. "I never expected to stand here tonight, not because I doubted any of you, but because I doubted myself. Growing up, I didn't dream of boardrooms or billion-dollar deals. My dreams were simpler: to help others, to make someone's day just a little bit brighter." She pauses, scanning the room as memories flood back: the homeless man at Rosie's diner, the elderly gentleman sipping hot chocolate, the countless strangers whose lives intersected with hers in small but meaningful ways. "What I've learned," Emma continues, her voice growing steadier, "is that kindness isn't weakness, it's power. It's the thread that connects us all, no matter where we come from or what challenges we face. And it's the foundation upon which true leadership must be built." Her gaze shifts briefly to Lily, then to Eleanor, her expression filled with gratitude. "This company has given me opportunities one never thought possible. But more importantly, it's shown me that when we choose to care for our employees, our communities, and our world, we create something far greater than financial success. We create change." The audience listens intently, captivated by her sincerity. As Emma concludes, her voice rings out with quiet conviction. "So tonight, I promise you this: under my leadership, Sinclair Enterprises will continue to prioritize people over profit, compassion over convenience, and hope over fear. Because together, we can prove that kindness isn't just a virtue, it's a force capable of changing lives." The room erupts once again, this time with even louder applause and cheers. Tears glisten in Emma's eyes as she steps back from the podium, overwhelmed by the love and support surrounding her. Later that evening, after the speeches and formalities have ended, Emma finds herself outside on the balcony overlooking the city skyline. The cool night air brushes against her skin as she leans against the railing, lost in thought. Moments later, Lily joins her, followed closely by Eleanor. "You did great out there," Eleanor says, her tone softer than usual. "I'm proud of you." Emma smiles faintly, glancing between them. "I couldn't have done it without both of you. You've taught me so much, about strength, about family, about believing in myself." Lily wraps her arms around Emma's waist, hugging her tightly. "We're your family now, work mom. Deal with it." Emma laughs, pulling Lily closer. "Deal." Eleanor steps forward, placing a hand on Emma's shoulder. "You've already changed this company, and my life, in ways I never expected. Thank you for reminding me what truly matters." As the three of them stand together under the starlit sky, the camera pans out to capture the glowing cityscape beyond. Their bond, a testament to the transformative power of kindness, is stronger than ever, proving that even the most unlikely connections can shape destinies and redefine legacies. Fade out as the trio shares a quiet moment of laughter and connection, the city lights shimmering like promises of a brighter future. This story of Emma Walker is more than just a tale of personal triumph, it's a reminder that kindness, resilience, and integrity can change the world. Emma began as an ordinary woman working tirelessly to make ends meet, yet she never lost sight of what truly mattered, helping others. Through her journey, we see that success isn't defined by wealth or titles but by the impact we have on those around us. Her story teaches us that no act of kindness is ever too small, and that even in the face of doubt and fear, stepping up to lead with heart can inspire others and transform lives, including our own. Emma's rise from a struggling waitress to the CEO of a billion-dollar company shows us that greatness often begins with humility. It reminds us that leadership isn't about having all the answers, it's about believing in the power of compassion and staying true to your values, even when the road gets tough. Whether you're leading a team, building a career, or simply trying to make a difference in your community, Emma's journey proves that the smallest gestures of care can ripple outward, creating waves of positive change. If this story resonated with you, don't miss out on more inspiring tales like this one. Subscribe to our channel and join a growing community of people who believe in the power of storytelling to uplift, motivate, and connect us all. Hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release our next video, and trust us, you won't want to miss it. Together, let's continue celebrating stories that remind us of the extraordinary potential within each of us to create a better, kinder world.